All right, Nick, in this video, I got to start by saying that I'm really excited about the progress that you've made over the course of about a week and a half. And so what we're going to do is we're going to make a few videos and address the areas that you've gotten better as a hitter. And then we're going to talk about how you can continue to get better as a hitter. In this video here, we'll begin with the stance and talk about how you've improved your stance position. You'll see on the left-hand side, this is you back on June 7th. And the right-hand side, this is you today on June 26th. And before I begin talking about you specifically and why your stance is better on the right-hand side as opposed to the left, I want to begin by talking about some Major League hitters. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pull up Albert Pujols on the left-hand side and Alex Rodriguez on the right-hand side. And I want to begin by saying that stances are cosmetic. In other words, however you start is not as important as where you get to your launch position. And when I'm talking about your launch position, I'm talking about what you look like when your front foot lands after your stride. You'll see that with A-Rod right here. And you'll see Albert Pujols after his stride right here. Okay, so this is the spot that matters. When we get into launch, we want to make sure that our knees are inside of our feet. Our knees are equally bent. We want to make sure that our eyes are slightly in front of our center of gravity. We want to make sure that our lead arm is bent, as you can see here with A-Rod and Albert Pujols, so that the hands are somewhere close to the armpit. And we want to see the knob of the bat pointed towards the catcher and the barrel of the bat towards the head, as you can see right here. So this is a good launch position. And all Major League hitters get to this position before they take their swing. So if we want to get to this spot, it only makes sense then if we start our stance in a position that's similar to that. And so you'll see here with these professional hitters, their knees stay inside their feet. Both are a little bit different with how they start their feet, but their knees are inside. Both have their eyes slightly in front of their belly button, and that creates balance. Both hitters have their front arm bent because they want to maintain that slight bend and relaxation in the lead arm when they get to launch. And both hitters are going to have their hands close to their armpit. And you'll see in this position that all the hitters that we're looking at here, their bats are pretty tall. And their elbows are up. Okay, so this is a very good stance position because it is efficient. And then we'll pull up a few more Major League hitters real quick. We'll pull up Chase Utley since we've been looking at him a lot. And we'll get him to his stance position. And again, you'll see the lead arm is bent. The hands are by the armpit. The bat is tall. The elbows up. The knees are inside the feet. The head is in front of the center of gravity. You can look at Miguel Cabrera, since we've looked at him a lot, and you're going to see the same thing. In his stance position, you see that bat's pretty tall, the elbows up, hands are by the armpits, the lead arm is bent, eyes in front of the center of gravity, knees inside the feet. And again, all hitters have to get to a good launch position, so it only makes sense that we start in a position at our stance that's going to get us to the launch efficiently and quickly. So with that in mind, let's take a look at your left-hand swing, your old swing, and your new swing, and we're going to focus on the stance here. And you can see right away when we put you in your stance position, there's a big difference. Number one, I love where your bat's at, how it's nice and tall. I love how your elbow is up. That looks a lot like A-Rod and Chase Utley. You see your knees are inside your feet. The lead arm is slightly bent. And I love how you have this elbow pointed towards the ground. That's very efficient to get to a good launch position. Whereas before, you could see that your bat was not tall. Instead, it was flat. You can see that your lead elbow is pointed out this way, away from your feet. And your back elbow is dipped down like this. So your hands weren't in really an efficient position to get to a good launch. Yes, on the left-hand side, your feet were good. And yes, on the left-hand side, your eyes were good in terms of balance, but the hands just weren't very efficient. And so you've made a dramatic improvement looking at this angle and getting to a good stance position. So you got to be very excited about that. Now I want to really quickly look at some major league hitters again. And this time we're going to look at it from a different view. We're going to look at Cabrera from the catcher view. And we'll look at Alex Rodriguez from the catcher view. Actually, I'm sorry. We're going to look at Chase Utley from the catcher view. And when we get both of them into their stance position, again, you're going to see that elbow's up. And you can see the bats are pretty tall. More specifically, they keep the barrel of the bat inside their body. In other words, the barrel of the bat doesn't go away from their body. Okay, you can see here, if I draw lines around Cabrera's body, the barrel of the bat stays inside that. And that's really important because we know when we get to launch, right there, we want to keep the barrel of the bat close to our head and close to our body. All right, so with that said, I want to pull up your stance again, this time looking at a different angle. You see the old one on the left-hand side, and we'll pull up the new one on the right-hand side. Right here, and again, you can see a big difference in your stance. You'll notice in the old one how the barrel of your bat went away and outside of your body. You can see how your elbows kind of dip down, and you can see how far away your hands are from your body and your arms. In contrast, in the new stance, I love how your bat's a little bit taller. I love how it stays inside your body. And I like how you got this elbow up, because we know that we got to get to a position that's close to this when we get to launch. So Nick, I'm really, really excited about just the stance and how you've made improvements there to become a more efficient hitter.